Okay, we are going to be reading chapter 13 of Wanting More. Remember that what we're looking for is for you to produce your very own journal entry from one of the characters' voices in the story. Think about their experiences and add to or complete a new journal entry from the voice of a character in chapter 13. Okay, here we go. Follow along as I read aloud. Be sure to draw conclusions and make inferences about what's happening and about who the characters are. Chapter 13, Wanting More. Someone is calling me, but I just went to sleep. I snuggled down into the blankets. There's a light touch on my forehead. I brushed it away. Someone says something in a strange language. Kala Gul answers. She's standing at the side of my bed, talking to a nurse. Then she turns towards me. Ah, you're finally awake. Come now, we need to go home. We've bothered these kind people long enough. There's something about these blankets. They're warmer than usual. I hate to leave them. The nurse takes me by the arm and slowly lifts me up until I'm sitting. My mouth feels numb. I touch the side where it used to be open, but it's covered in a bandage. Kala Gul says, "Leave the dressing alone. It has to heal now." The same nurse takes my arm and helps me swing my legs over the side of the narrow bed. She says something that I think means slowly. I'm a little wobbly, like a newborn lamb. Kala Gul takes my arm and leads me back to the army truck. She makes a huge fuss over me in front of the army people. It makes me feel embarrassed. I climb into the vehicle slowly and sink down into the seat. It seems so good to sit down. We drive through Kabul on the way back to the orphanage. I wish I could see the Akram's shop. I wish Baba or Masood could see me riding like this. We're back at the orphanage too soon. As soon as the army people are gone, Kala Gul seems to lose all interest in me. She calls a girl standing by the office to help me to my room. It takes a long time to walk down those hallways. When I get to my room, I'm grateful to lie down. Luckily, Soraya is in class. I want nothing more than to sleep. I wake up when I hear noise in the corridor. What will Soraya say? She'll be so angry I defied her. Little feet come running up first. Arwa jumps onto my bed and peeks at me through blankets. "Can I see your lip?" I push her away a bit too roughly. She falls off the edge of the bed. I feel bad when she cries out, but not bad enough to get up to help her. Soraya comes in and says, "What are you doing to the poor child?" She scoops up Arwa and makes a big fuss of comforting her. It's an act. I know it. She must find her just as annoying as I do. Arwa's eyes are closed, and her face is pressed against Soraya's chest. If she were a kitten, she would be purring. I want to turn my back to the door, shut them all out of my view. Okay, sliding on through to page 119. Before I can turn over, Soraya says, "Let me see the damage. It's in order." At least she's talking to me. Ziba leans closer like she wants to see too. I push down the blanket from my nose. I'm not supposed to uncover it yet. Nonsense, let me see. So I sit up and show them my lip. Soraya touches the dressing and picks at the tape at the corner. "Don't," I say, but she keeps at it. Soraya manages to lift a corner of the tape. My lip isn't as numb anymore. The stickiness of the tape pulls at my skin as she lifts it. It feels as if I'm being snapped by 100 rubber bands. That sounds kind of painful. The dressing is stuck fast. The blood must have soaked through and dried. Soraya tugs at it, but I pull away. "No, don't. You'll make it bleed." "Fine. Be like that." She turns, calls Ziba to her side, and walks out. The only one left is Arwa. She's sucking her finger, staring at me. I make a face at her and wince when it hurts. She takes the hint, but just as she leaves, she glances at me over her shoulder. It's a look of reproach, and it stings more than my lip. So think about what reproach means in this context. A look of reproach. Here we go. How come I can put up with everyone in here but her? She's so dirty. But I know it's not that. There are others much dirtier. I turn my back to the door and try to settle down to sleep. But I'm much too wide awake now. They've gone for lunch. This will be one time the tiny mirror in the bathroom won't be crowded. There's no one in the hallway. I'm glad my bare feet make no sound. I peek around the corner. The way is clear. Down another hallway. Why am I being so sneaky? I'm just going to the bathroom. The mirror is small and high up. I want to stand on tiptoe to see the bottom of my cheek. With my tongue, I can feel the stitches that run all the way through, inside the top of my lip. I lift the corner of the tape that Soraya was working on, but the dressing really is stuck. I might as well go back to bed, but my stomach is grumbly. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Maybe I should go to lunch too. I feel pretty good. They didn't say I couldn't eat afterward. I'll just make sure I chew on the other side, away from the stitches. Then when I enter the lunchroom, all the girls look up from their yogurt and naan. Most of them smile when they see me. It's a kind of cheer that goes around the room. Kala Karima says, "Jamila, I was going to check on you. How are you feeling? Come, sit here. Girls, make room." Soraya's way on the other side with Ziba and Arwa. That's my usual spots, but somehow I don't feel like picking my way over there. I'm tired from all the walking. It's nice to settle down right here. Kala Karima goes into the kitchen and brings out another bowl with some naan. I saved this for you. Can you eat? Would you like me to break the naan into pieces and soak it in the yogurt so it's soft? I smile, then wince with the pain it causes. My lip is definitely not numb anymore. It's alright, I'll do it. I break up the naan and drop it into the yogurt. Fima, a girl next to me, says, "How was the operation? Were you scared?" "A little." Another girl beside her says, "Did the soldiers point their guns at you?" I frown. "No." "What kind of knife did they use?" I didn't see the knife." Kala Karima hands me a spoon, and I stir the yogurt to soften up the naan. Another girl says, "I would be terrified." I was a little scared. I heard things, I say, and I can't help glancing in Soraya's direction. But it was okay. There was a nurse. She was nice. They lean closer while I tell them about the operation. Girls in the next row are turning around to listen. Soon there's a crowd around me. It feels so strange to be the center of attention. I see Soraya glance at me a few times. Her face is neutral. Ziba scowls at me. Arwa joins the group gathered around. Her nose is running all the way down to the edge of her lip, and there's a bit of yellow crust around the edges. She asks, "Did it hurt?" Ugh. I'm losing my appetite, so I turn away and don't answer. But Fima says, "Yeah, did it?" It didn't hurt right then, but it's hurting now. I stir the yogurt again. The naan is nice and mushy. I can't answer all these questions and eat at the same time. Finally, Kala Karima comes to my rescue and tells the girls to leave me alone. They look so disappointed. I had no idea they were this friendly. With my belly full, I just want to go back to sleep, but it's their time. I make wudu carefully, trying not to get the bandage wet. Excuse me. Fima and her friend Raisa splash some water on themselves, but they don't wash their hands and face and arms and feet 3 times. So this tells us specifically what wudu is, what it looks like, and how many times you need to wash yourself. Why can't they make wudu properly? Only some of the girls make the effort. They all fuss over me. Fima shoves some of the girls out of the way and ends up at my side. By the time we get to the prayer room, I'm drained. I don't have the strength to stand up, so I sit in the corner with my back to the wall and pray sitting down. Praying while sitting takes much less time, so I finish my asuna before the others and have time to watch them. It amazes me how many girls sit at the sides and turn to each other to whisper and gossip. It makes me wonder what they say about me. Soraya sees me sitting and says something to Ziba, who nods. Maybe they think I'm being lazy, sitting instead of standing to pray. Rima, one of the bigger, rather homely girls, comes in for making wudu. The edges of her sleeves and her face are wet, and as she walks by, I see that the back of her dress is caught in the drawstring of her pants. Her whole backside is exposed. Worst of all, her pants are wedged into the crack of her bottom. Fima points at her and doesn't even try to muffle her laughter. She nudges her friend, Raisa, so she can see and laugh too. Poor Rima. She has no idea why they're laughing. She just looks at the girls and smiles, trying to get in on the joke. I wish I was closer. I'd yank her dress out so it would cover her shame. Soraya looks up from her dirk to see what all the girls are laughing at. When Rima passes by, her eyes widen, but she doesn't laugh. By this time, Rima is smiling and laughing along with everyone else. Soraya gets up, steps over a couple of little kids, grabs Rima by the shoulder, and yanks out her dress, where it's trapped so it falls properly. A look of realization comes over Rima's homely face. The other girls roar with laughter. Beside me, Fima's laughing so hard, she's wiping her tears from her eyes. Raisa's laughing. Zeba's laughing. Even Arwa is laughing, but Soraya nudges her, says something, and she stops. The only ones who don't laugh are Soraya and myself. The Ikama is called. The time for prayer to start. Poor Rima. She looks so embarrassed, and nobody's letting her into line. Soraya calls her forward and lets her stand between me and Zeba. Fima gets a nasty face at Soraya's back, and Raisa rolls her eyes. Fima turns to me and says, "That stupid Soraya, she's always spoiling our fun." After the prayer, Kala Karima says I must go right back to my room and lie down. Some of the girls argue about who gets to take me, and Fima manages to get the honor. Up and down the corridors, she doesn't walk too fast, and even offers her arm for me to lean on. I say, "Tashakur, but I wouldn't want to burden you." It feels unwise to lean on her. Maybe she'll complain to the others about how heavy I am. When we get to the room, Fima tucks the blankets in around my back so I'll be warmer. She says, "You don't remember me, do you?" I feel bad. "I'm sorry, but no." Fima smiles. "You helped me out. I was supposed to mop the kitchen, but you did it for me. For 3 nights. I was sick. Don't you remember?" I shake my head. "Sorry." She nods. "Well, there were lots of girls you helped out." I guess there were. So here, turn back to this sample of the writing journal, and I want you to reflect on the voices characters you've heard in the chapter in order to imitate, but not to copy, your own journal entry from an original point of view from one of the characters using first person in the style of a journal. So take this opportunity to either reread the chapter or to begin writing. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me, Mr. Hartman. Thank you for your time.